like memories of special times or a treasured photograph.
Those moments of life just so right that brought a smile or a laugh.
Like family and special friends who never let you down.
Like the kind of pride you feel inside when you think of your hometown. Regina, there's a feeling that we share. It's the special way we care. Pitching in to help each other through.
It's true.
That's the spirit, and it shows in everything we do. For 50 years we've been here for you. Yours truly, Channel 2.
Like memories of special times or a treasured photograph.
Those moments of life just so right that brought a smile or a laugh.
Like family and special friends who never let you down.
Like the kind of pride you feel inside when you think of your hometown. Regina, there's a feeling that we share. It's the special way we care. Pitching in to help each other through.
It's true.
That's the spirit, and it shows in everything we do. For 50 years we've been here for you. Yours truly, Channel 2. There's so much here that's truly yours. Regina has it all. The legislature, science center, a day out at the mall.
It's yours truly.
The Cougars and the Riders, the RCMP. A day at the park, the Twin Towers at dark. This is the place to be.
Regina!
The future's looking bright. We've got the Queen City in sight, where we share traditions old and new.
It's true.
That's the spirit, and it shows in everything we do. We're for the family, always here for you. Yours truly, Channel 2.
This is Western Canada's first privately owned television station, CKCK-TV's up-to-the-minute news.
50 years of memories. 50 years of excellence in news. The personalities you remember. The news team you trust today. CTV News, celebrating 50 incredible years with you.
Yours truly, Channel 2.
Happy birthday, CKCK.
Happy anniversary for 50 years of good service to us.
Happy anniversary, CK-TV.
Way to go.
Yes.
We'd like to wish you all the best in the future and great job. Really good job.
Happy anniversary, CKCK. We love you.
We love you, Saskatchewan.
Yours truly, Channel 2.
Happy birthday, CKCK.
Happy 50th anniversary.
Happy birthday, CKCK. Have another good 50 years.
And I'm old enough to remember the days of Rin Tin Tin and Howdy Doody.
Happy birthday!
I've been watching them since I was a little girl. Happy birthday, CTV. I wish you many more happy birthdays to come.
We love you, Saskatchewan.
Yours truly, Channel 2.
This is CKCK Television, channels 2, 6, 7, and 12.
Everything was new, and you looked at it and said, well, we'll try this, see if it works. And that's the way it went, and fortunately it worked.
Because everybody wanted to see television. It was brand new.
The challenge was to take something that was so brand new and turn it into a very viable thing.
Southern Saskatchewan's television station for 50 years.
Yours truly, Channel 2.
In the 1950s, far from the concentrated wealth of Eastern Canada, a modest Plains people were about to enter an exciting new age of social caring. Tommy Douglas and the CCF came to power with the people's health top of mind. Our scrappy son, John Diefenbaker, carried Saskatchewan's message to Parliament Hill. And Southern Saskatchewan was about to be turned on by a new vision that would become its eye on the world. On July 27, 1954, just east of Regina, on a windswept patch of open prairie, CKCK Television was born. It was a child of the new communications age, and the people of Southern Saskatchewan would make it a community-building force for the next 50 years and beyond.
On CKCK Television.
Everything was new. We were experimenting. Other stations came to us and said, well, how do you do this? And they were going on the air later. It was, there was a lot of experimenting, and the weight of the equipment was unbelievable. What now takes up actually millimeters took up feet, and the weight was unbelievable. The power supplies for some of the things were so heavy you'd take two people to lift them, where now you could lift them with one finger.
The engineering group that had to start the station didn't have many places to go for help. A lot of the stuff they had to invent, make, that's what was their challenge. There just wasn't a lot of places to go for help.
We had a problem in our main transmitter, and we had the Canadian General Electric people here and our own people, and we worked very, very hard. We had a trouble getting the transmitter actually on the air to put high voltage to it. And fortunately we found the problem and were able to get it on in time.
And we had a wonderful person to head this up, and that was in the gentleman by the name of Harold Crittenden. And he was just a gem of a person. And his dedication to the community was rubbed off onto the staff.
Harold Crittenden, the first vice president and general manager of this station, had always said that it was important that we always be a major part of the community, and we were.
From its very launch, CKCK-TV enlivened Southern Saskatchewan's imagination, attracting the local viewers who would play an important part in shaping the station's early entertainment years.
Well, hi, little buckaroos. Mighty glad that you could drop into the old ranch house this afternoon. Desperate Dawn's my name.
In the 50s, television was born to be live. Only a few quality international television shows were available for viewing.
The party line is sewing instructions.
CKCK-TV needed to fill its broadcast day, so it turned to its local producers and local talent to create original programs. In live television, anything could happen, and often did.
Mel Friesen was in charge of, we had a monkey in the studio, and Mel was to look after him, but he got away on the 6 o'clock newscast.
Because I had a variety show where they gave me a monkey, a little rhesus monkey, as part of my show. And after the show, the newscast came on and the sports and so on, but the monkey got away on us in the studio. It started swinging under the Klieg lights and down the drapes, and before we knew it, Jim was into the news, and right behind him, climbing down the drapes, was my little monkey. And Mel, my buddy, and I tried to get him away from Jim, but Jim never blinked an eye. He went straight on with the news, and the monkey came right up and sat beside him, got up on his shoulder, and we were totally embarrassed, and laughing. It was fun. Not to Jim, but he never blinked. He never slowed down, stopped the news or anything. He just went right through, and the monkey finally left, and Jim finished the news.
And then one of the big events that the television station went through was when it went from a CBC affiliate to a CTV affiliate. That, in a way, changed the whole picture. Right away, we had a larger viewership because our programs changed. They were more identifiable to the community. Our ratings soared, and of course we became not just a television transmitter sending out programs, but we began producing programs for the community.
It's time for your CKCK Television Sports Scope.
And not just 60-second or 30-second public service announcements, but I mean real programs.
We would have as many as 10 commercial setups around the perimeter of the studio. And then in the corner of that studio would be a television program which was going live. Everything was live in those days. And so they would do a cut from the live program to one of those 10 commercials. And that's what would happen all through the half-hour or one-hour show, whatever it happened to be.
Because you got to do everything. You know, I did commercials. I went in the morning and did reporting. And at midnight, I was still there doing live commercials, live to camera, because this was before videotape.
I enlisted the services of Danny Laran, one of the studio cameramen, and he became Mr. Happy Face. And the university art department created a wonderful jug that he wore on his head, and polka-dotted shirt and pants, and we took him to playgrounds, and we took him to water parks. The Regina City Police came along. It was a whole safety aspect.
We did everything first, and we didn't know enough about what you weren't supposed to be able to do. We did plays, we did variety shows, we did live commercials.
I was one of those people who worked both CKCK radio and CK television, and I did all kinds of things at television, everything from commercials and commentating and narrations and hosting live shows to writing, doing choreography and directing commercials. We were doing a set of commercials to be inserted in Grey Cup, and we didn't get them all done, and I did a live commercial lying on a Bigelow carpet in the middle of the Grey Cup, a 30-second commercial, and that puts a lot of pressure on you, I have to say.
But we worked flat out 6-7 days a week, evenings, and we laughed all the time because we were inventing things. There wasn't anybody to show us how to do anything, so we invented what we did. And certainly we tried very hard to do quality work, but you know, for the most part, we had one camera, and we just didn't have the sets or the sophistication, but we had slides, and we introduced those into the programs, and some of our producers tried very hard to duplicate animated work.
Yes, we produced a Western show here with local musicians, which was very popular. Western shows were always popular because of the part of the country we come from.
The 1960s were revolutionary times for people in television. Flower power, British invasions, moonwalks, and the murder of America's prince. Lester B. Pearson had his Maple Leaf Directive. The nation swooned with Trudeau-mania.
Hand off, Reed.
The Riders won the Cup.
Touchdown!
And CKCK-TV was about to change the way we view the world. Brought to you by your Saskatchewan Credit Unions, a better way to bank.
Yours truly, Channel 2.
As the social passions of the 60s raced ahead, so did television technology. The rich color of new social ideas would meet television's newest dimension in the mid-60s, when CKCK-TV brought color programs to southern Saskatchewan.
A CKCK Television color presentation.
2 new color telecine machines projected the best in international news and drama for CKCK-TV's viewing audience.
Today I got a real good guest. We made a show today.
We had a lot of American material on television at that time, which was black and white, but a lot of it was getting into color. And when we went color, it was almost as if we'd reinvented the medium. Color made a tremendous difference in drama, in news, and everything else that you can think of.
The first thing that happened was that we changed our transmitter so that and people who had color sets in the community could now pick up color shows, and the first color shows that they got were the network shows.
The telecine and being able to do color, especially cartoons, come out so much better, and you had quite a children's audience for that sort of thing. And also shows like the Ed Sullivan Show and that were now in color. And of course that added so much to it because the producers used color to make the shows better, and we were now able to do it.
CKCK Television today began telecasting local productions in color.
With the color coming in the studio with live shows as our news was, or some of the commercials in color, again, we were able to use color to emphasize things too, and this was a big step forward.
I think that we had seen some American TV color and knew that eventually this might happen to us. And all of a sudden, the things that I would be drawing with a piece of chalk on a board were all of a sudden coming, true to life in different colors. We made a big change the way we dressed.
We'll call it about 0 degrees.
The way we could present ourselves. Sure.
Building on the high journalistic standards established in the 50s and 60s by notable broadcast journalists such as Jim McLeod and Harold Hamilton throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s, CKCK-TV's window on the world grew even larger.
Good evening, I'm Harold Hamilton.
We watched Canada win at its own game, and Tricky Dick lose at his, saw the Vietnam War come to an end. In Saskatchewan, there was a homecoming. We invited the Queen to dinner. The province's political fortunes seesawed. The Riders won a second cup.
It's up! It's good!
And hosted another. In the early 80s, CKCK-TV embraced a new technology that gave news access to places never visited before at a speed never imagined.
The ENG brought immediacy to the station in the news department. People saw things exactly as they had pictured them if they were down there, whether it was a parade or whether it was an opening of something. We were there and they could see it, and we could do it quickly and efficiently.
The benefit of electronic news gathering was simply getting an item to air a lot quicker than you were able to do with film. You could run out, get something shot, whether it's cover, whether it's an interview, come back, get it edited very quickly, and be on the air within a matter of minutes. And that was always the key.
Throughout the decades of the 20th century, the CKCK-TV News Department exemplified the station's commitment to local programming relevant to its audience.
Some impressive work is being done.
Another part of community relations, of course, and it was vitally important to us, was the fact that we were, one of our largest part of our audience were our farm audience. News was vital to them. Weather was exceptionally important to our farmers, and that's why weathermen were always popular and will always be popular with respect to our farming families.
But after a while, people introduced me as the weatherman. I could be introduced as a guest speaker, and it wouldn't be from CKCK Television. It would say, "Here's your weatherman." That's, it was as simple as that.
As a former sports director at CKCK Television in Regina, I have great memories of several of those first 50 years that everyone is celebrating with the television station these days. I remember my very first assignment for CKCK-TV was to interview Ron Lancaster in 1969 on the front steps of Central High School in downtown Regina. Central's no longer there. Obviously, Ron Lancaster left a while ago, and so did I. But those were wonderful times.
Keith Howell was doing late night weather and sports and news. And anyway, a couple of the studio boys, they got a little, I don't know, they just got bored, I guess, and they decided to get a fish line out of in the back of the studio. And Keith Howell used to wear a lock right here in his forehead. Well, these two guys got the fish wire, which you couldn't see on the camera, one on either side of them, and every now and again they'd give this lock a flip, you know. I said, oh. Of course, I know what's going on, but the people must have thought, what is that? If you worked for CK Television, you were a respected member of the community. They really mattered because the people knew how totally involved you were with their community, and we were, and you were well respected on the streets, and I thought that was really, really quite something.
The news department is the one big window that remains. If you go back to the old days, there was a number of shows on the air, but the news was still the main window. And certainly as those other shows have disappeared through the years, the news became the window on the community, both for us to honor the community that we live in and to reflect the community that we live in.
I think that those of us who worked the night of the tornado in Pilot Butte and White City would feel that we made a difference that night, just in our ability to tell a story that the community cared an awful lot about. As a journalist, it was a tremendous event to cover because it was breaking news, because there was an element of danger involved in covering the story, and because people really cared about it. We worked on kerosene lamps and old typewriters, of course, in the newsroom.
But the goal was to keep the folks in southern Saskatchewan well informed about what was going on in southern Saskatchewan and Saskatchewan, things that were important to them. When we structured the newscast on the basis of what was making news that day. We chose the stories based on our best judgment, and when I say our, I mean the entire newsroom. Technically, the buck stopped at my desk, but I rarely had the final say because we used to have some great debates about what should go in and where it should fit in the newscast.
And I've always thought that you never take your viewing audience for granted. So if you do a great thing one day, you better follow it up with another really good thing, because there can be no drop-off.
It's developed quite significantly, just even the changes in technology. I mean, we can go live at the drop of a hat now, where back in 1995, it would be a major production to do so. And that is really, really good for us and for the viewers, because we can bring more immediacy to the newscast, to the news, and to how the stories that we're telling are impacting their lives.
I think there has been a change in the direction that news has taken at CKCK Television. Its main focus has been and always will be to be relevant and to connect with the community, and that hasn't changed. But I think the way we cover things, the way we explain things, the way the reporters search out a story is more from a human one-on-one perspective. That is, how does this affect the viewer? How is this important to the viewer? And I think it's less traditional, it's more relaxed, it's more conversational.
I think, to me, journalism is about storytelling. It's about finding people who have stories to tell and sharing those stories in a responsible and fair fashion. I mean, it's about telling the truth. It's about showing what's going on in your community to your community.
From its inception to the end of the 20th century, the television industry underwent continual change. For CKCK-TV, one truth was constant, a truth that remains its foundation today. Brought to you by your Saskatchewan Credit Unions, a better way to bank.
Yours truly, Channel 2.
It was true in 1954 when CKCK-TV first began broadcasting, and it's still true today. CKCK-TV's past and future is interwoven with the passions, challenges, tragedies, and victories experienced by the people of southern Saskatchewan.
But at the end of the day, we have to do what the people have indicated to us they want done, which is tell the news. And you tell it 7 days a week. And do it in a straightforward and forthright manner. And that's how we move forward. Whether we add satellite technology or microwave trucks or all these other things, or we get it digitally or linearly, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's the product, it's the news that matters. And if we're sort of true to our roots, we'll do just fine.
I would like our viewers to know that I don't take my position here for granted at all. And I don't take sitting in that chair behind me at 6 o'clock for granted. I think it bears with it an awesome responsibility to bring home the stories that matter most to them, that are impacting their lives, and to tell those stories in a fair way, balanced way, and in a way that they will remember.
I would say the thing that I'm most proud of is that I am invited into the homes of thousands of people every night to share with them the news. To read the 6 o'clock supper news on CKCK television is an honor, and it's an honor and a humbling experience to be invited into people's homes every night and to receive instant feedback from the viewers as well. I think that is probably my greatest accomplishment, that I am doing the 6 o'clock news on CKCK television, a station that I've always admired, a station that I have worked for, as I said, on and off for some 20 years or better. And the amount of viewers that the station has and the response we have from the viewers, be it good, bad, or indifferent, they'll phone and they'll tell you. And they feel that they can do that. And I like that connection.
The theme of our anniversary celebrations this year, our 50th anniversary celebrations, is Yours Truly Channel 2. And what that means is that as a station, and this is, I'm sure, from all of the people that have worked here over the 50 years, I mean, we really do want to thank the people of Regina and the people of southern Saskatchewan for supporting us all the years and for, allowing us to come into their homes every day and be part of their lives. The reason we do what we do in terms of supporting all of the community events that we possibly can is the same reason that we've always done it, because we can and because we want to.
CKCK-TV will always be close to the people of southern Saskatchewan. It's a relationship of the heart, a tradition of commitment. As in the past 50 years, so too in the next 50 years, CKCK-TV Channel 2 is yours truly.
Since day 2 in 1954, it has been the continuing policy of CKCK Television to bring to its viewers the best in top caliber programs available.